we're going to jump across to Una. I hope I've pronounced her name correctly. Is it Una or Una?
Hi.
I can't. Oh, there you go. Now I can see you. Where are you? Where are you coming from?
Hello. I'm from California, actually. I'm here in close to LA, so it's pretty cool.
You're from my hometown, my home.
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So what's going on, Una? What's happening? Yeah.
So my question is, while voicing a fictional character as a voice actor or acting on set, were you allowed to like improv or improve any of the lines you may had?
Ooh, good question. I don't. Not. I mean, yes. Short answer, yes. Long answer. A lot of times you won't like. It's not like I'm like rewriting a full script by any means. But there's certain times where you might just like change the word order of the line to make it feel a little more natural, more comfortable to say. Occasionally, I would improv a little bit. Usually, if it was like a joke moment or something, sometimes we'll improv like a little funny thing, and sometimes it'll make it into the episode. Sometimes it won't. But yeah, I think a lot of people I've worked with are pretty chill about that for the most part. You always want to make sure that you get I always try and do at least one solid take of exactly how it's written first, and then if I know that we have that comfortably in the bag, then it's like on subsequent takes you can kind of mess around with stuff and just give them different options or maybe improv a little bit, and then sometimes they'll end up using it, sometimes they won't. But yeah, I try and do that a little bit, or at least I try and be comfortable enough to where I can do that if the opportunity arises. And recently I've gotten to work on some really great shows where I've improved multiple lines that have gotten in, and that's always fun. It's fun to kind of do stuff on set, and you find like that you'll have stuff that comes organically when you're working off of different actors, or in the moment that you think of something and they're like, oh, why didn't we think of that, or whatever. And it's fun to throw little things in. The show that I'm working on now, I have a role that's a very Lancey, actually. Honestly, it's live action, but it's a very Lance type role. But I get to throw. Occasionally, I'll throw in like a little line here or there because I'm a very like comic relief type of character, and so I get a lot of funny lines, and I'll try and lean into that and throw in more in. So it's a lot of times it's when it comes to improv, it kind of depends on the role that you're playing too. Because I've played, I've done certain shows where you're kind of more of the straight man in the show, and by that I mean you're like you're not like the comic relief character. You're more the person that's like driving the plot, and you're more of the just kind of normal down to earth person. And a lot of your lines are more plot driven or exposition, or they're very serious, whatever else. And so there's not as much room for improv in that way, other than like maybe you'll change the word order of something around, but otherwise you kind of have to stay on script. But when you get to be like kind of like more comic relief type roles, you get to be more goofy and you get to kind of throw more in, which is fun. They're both, there's pros and cons to both, but it is fun to be able to do a little bit of that.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And did you have any line or any sort of sayings that Jeremy's well known for that you thought might have been improv?
I personally thought like most of Lance's pickup lines were improv. And some of the
I don't know if they were. I think a lot of them actually, I feel like for the most part, I had a couple improv Lance lines. I couldn't tell you exactly which ones they are. I definitely long since forgot. but I know that I think a lot of the really popular ones I don't think were improv. And that's not, I mean, that's a lot of times they're great writers, a lot of times you'll read what's in the, you're like, oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. And then you'll just, at that point, it's on me just to bring it to life and to do the funny line and give it the justice that it deserves, and really just it's great writing. So it's a, in that way, it's a symbiotic relationship. You trust that they're giving you good stuff to say, and then they trust that you're going to deliver it the way that they intended. And yeah, I think a lot of the stuff, I think it was one of those things where I think they added in more of those types of lines once I was cast and once we started recording, because they just knew my personality at that point, and they knew kind of the comedy style that I had and that I could handle it. And so they, you know, a lot of times when you get cast, you'll start working on something and then they'll kind of do little rewrites to where they'll kind of change things and tailor them a little bit more to the people that are cast because they know people's personalities now. And they're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that for them before, but they have this little personality quirk and they'll throw stuff in. And that's always fun. So I think they started adding more of that after I was cast because I just kind of gave more of a flirty kind of attitude to it that was more kind of like goofy flirty. And they, you know, leaned into that.
Oh my God.
So cool. Now you know, like, now you know, like some of the things.
Yeah,
Very
awful.
cool.
Sorry, I'm freaking out right now.
Thank you for jumping up. No, you're cool. You're cool. That's the whole idea, right? You get to ask Jeremy questions that you never be able to get to ask normally. So that's totally cool. Exactly. Thanks for jumping on and spending the time with us. Awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.